Hey everyone, this is Greg Tastic here. Um, if you're some people may be watching this video and have never seen videos that I've done before, and you may be wondering why I look that way, or that way, or that way, that way. It's because I'm a little nervous, and you could deal with that. But anyway, I wanted to make this video today to talk about why I decided to upgrade to a Ryzen chip and whether I'm happy with that decision or not. Because now I've had not 24 hours, but 12, 16 hours to think about it, and it's not as obvious as it was when we were looking at the uh, pre release AMD spec numbers. Anyway, why did I choose to buy one of the Ryzen chips, and am I happy with it? Do I regret it? Let's get into that. So, the first, I have like my little Newegg page open here, so I'm gonna open it up. But the first, all right, before I even get to that, when I was little, the first computer I had when I was like 7, 8 years old, and it was not my computer. It was a family computer. Was a IBM Aptiva, and somewhere, hopefully, if I edit this, I'll post a picture of that. But the first computer we had was the IBM Aptiva, and that's you know a very long time ago, and probably some people now wouldn't even know what that is. But anyway, the point is that we got that computer, and I used Microsoft Office on it, and that was it. I don't think that computer ever even hooked up to the internet. And when we got the computer, my dad told me, "Don't. We're not buying this as a game machine. We're buying this as a work machine. So we're gonna do Microsoft Office stuff on it." The internet wasn't that big in like 95 or 96 or whatever it was, so we weren't gonna use the internet, and that was it. Like, we weren't gonna play games on it. I don't know. I honestly don't even know, like, now for that time, like, was that good? Like, it came with games, and I secretly played some of them when no one was looking, but I don't know if it was like a good game machine, or I had no idea what it could play. And on the console side of things, I never got a console system until the 64 came out. And the day the 64 came out, I got a SNES. So I was always behind the schedule by far. But anyway, we had that Aptiva for a while. And then eventually, in around 98, 99, my dad decided he was going to build a custom build. I mean, he didn't build it, he had someone else build it. So he built this custom build, and someone built it. I forget where they were, and we had a lot of issues with it because it was, I think, like, it might have had like Windows ME on it when they built it. Windows 98, or I think it was Windows ME, and then it like went to Windows XP, or it could have been Windows 98 and then it went to Windows ME. But either way, there were a lot of compatibility issues once it was built. So, I mean, I wouldn't say the computer was useless, but we had hardware that, you know, we had something that wasn't really, satisfying us as far as what we thought we would get out of it. And then a few years later, like early 2000s, we got a Dell Inspiron, and we used that. And like this whole time, I'm like someone who likes to play games, but I'm not playing games on any of these computers. I'm not doing anything like that. I'm not doing anything crazy. I go on the internet, I go on AOL Instant Messenger, etc., etc., but I'm not playing games. I mean, I played maybe like RuneScape or something like that. And I thought I was a rapper back then, so I like recorded songs, and I pretty much use like the Wave recorder in Windows to do that, and I also like thought I could do like game creation. I use like RPG Maker and different things that like were very, I wouldn't say low demanding, but they're not crazy. So eventually I get to like um high school and I'm ready to graduate. I'm looking for a summer job and I get a job where I make a little bit of money. So I build my first computer. And that's what I have on that's what I have up on Newegg right now. So the first computer I built was an AMD ATI computer. So the this was like 2006. The processor that I used was an AMD Athlon 64 3500 plus, and the GPU that I used was a Radeon X1600 Pro. And I never used that computer to its full potential. And the computer, I mean, actually, the computer is downstairs in my house right now being used by someone. And I mean, it does Gmail and everything fine. So here's the difference between this computer that I built and everything else before it. Before it, I was told don't game, don't do this, don't do that. And I secretly gamed and did this and did that, but it was terrible at it. This was the first computer where I said I can do what I want. So I got the processor I want, I got the GPU I want, I got the RAM I want, I got a CD burner, DVD burner, I got a floppy drive, hard drive, everything I wanted. I got a Bluetooth adapter for it. And I was very happy because at the end of the day, even if I didn't game up to the full potential for it or use it to its full potential, I still had what I wanted. It still never lagged, never slowed down. Whereas every computer I owned before it lagged, slowed down, etc., etc. And I used it for a couple of years. Then I went to college. Then when I went to college, I got a laptop because that made sense. But that first like experience I had with using a computer that just worked was that AMD Athlon 3500. Now, a few years later, in 2008, I built a Intel Core 2 Quad Q6600, which people should know because you could probably still buy one today and use it in like a low end rig. And I had a Sapphire Radeon HD 4850 in it. I had a Corsair power supply that the computer that I have hooked up to my TV right now still uses that same Corsair power supply in it, which lets you know that this stuff doesn't go bad. Like, if you actually take good care of it, do what you're supposed to do, you'll be fine with it. But anyway, eventually, like, something went wrong with that build, like, a year later. Maybe 2 years later, maybe, I would say a year later, something went wrong with that build. I couldn't tell if it was the memory or the GPU or whatever. I just said, fuck it. I'm tired of being a computer person. I bought a Celeron processor and a motherboard. I sold the memory and the graphics card and the CPU, and I made a bunch of money off of it. And I said I'm just going to use a Celeron that has integrated graphics, and that's going to be it. Like, I'm going to make my life easy. And it was easy for like 3 or 4 years. And then eventually I got tired of that. I said, listen, I need a good computer. I built a i3 6100, then I went to i5 6600, and then I stood here. I had an i6 6600K, and I stood here and I said, right now, recently, the Zen CPUs were supposed to come out, the Ryzen CPUs, and I said, um, do I wanna switch to one of these? And did I want to switch or did I not want to switch? Had more to do, it had something to do with performance. It also had something to do with like loyalty. Like that was the first CPU that I ever had, AMD CPU, where I felt like the computer was mine and I owned it and I could do whatever I wanted with it. It also has to do with, the fact that AMD is cheaper in general and is more free with their technology. They use things like FreeSync technology for the monitors, where, you know, up to half or 2/3 of the price of a G-Sync monitor, you can get a FreeSync monitor that does the same thing. Or you got the RX 480, which, say what you want about its performance, but I would say is definitely like the best mid tier, like kind of budget craft. I wouldn't say budget graphic card, but I would say like, you know, if you're around 200 and you want to get a nice graphics card, like 480 is where it's at. Not everybody has all this money to spend on computers. But I already had the i6600, and I'm like kind of seeing like the previews coming out, and I'm realizing like Zen's not gonna match even Skylake's uh, performance per core or anything like that. It's not gonna happen. And really, would you expect it to happen from how far behind they were? And I still was interested though because A, I like AMD. B, they're talking about releasing an 8 core processor, which even if it doesn't reach the same speed as a 4 core processor, it's still an 8 core processor. You wouldn't expect a 8 core processor to necessarily reach the same speed. So some of that differential in performance is based on the fact that AMD hasn't had their research and development as well as Intel does, but some of it is also just based on this is an 8 core processor instead of a 4 core processor. When AMD 6 and 4 and 2, no, I think it's just 6, 12, 4, 8, and 4 processors come out, it will be interesting to see where they're at. But anyway, I kind of like decided I was gonna do it. So I went this morning. I bought the chip. I read the reviews before I did it. I pre-ordered a 1700X and an 1800X, and I bought a 1700 even though I didn't pre-order it. Why did I decide to do that? Because when I woke up this morning and read the reviews, they all had not all, but the people that reviewed the 1700 had it running as fast as the 1800X, almost or pretty much overclocked. And the 1700 has a lower wattage usage. So I bought it. Am I happy? Do I regret it? It's like this whole video led up to the last minute or two. Am I happy? Yeah, I think I am, because I do stuff besides just gaming. I encode video. I would like to stream video in the future. I like to do a lot of things, and I like to expand what I do. Um, do I regret it? No, because I still have my 6600K. I have a 3470 in my side computer, my side piece. And I have a 6600K just sitting there, not doing anything. So I could always put that in the side computer. I could sell it. I could do whatever. I don't know what I want to do. But I'm not upset. Um, Probably I sound upset. I'm not upset. That's not what I mean. Just what I mean is replacing my computer's right here, replacing the 6600K with the 1700 in gaming, that's probably at most it would be a side grade, but I'd definitely say it was a down grade. But it also gives you 16 divided by -4. It also gives you like 12 extra, 4 extra physical cores and 12 extra um, multi-threaded cores to improve what you're doing. So that makes me happy. But anyway, probably what I'll do is put the 6600K in the side computer. And I mean, I imagine the 1700 will run whatever games I want it to run. It won't be a problem. It will hopefully actually handle what I throw at it as far as encoding or streaming or whatever. Fine. I plan on doing some videos in the future showing that stuff off. I realize probably no one watched this video because I don't have a following and I only recorded it because I thought this was like a special occasion. But just wait. Let's see what happens. We got the motherboard. Well, my motherboard at least is definitely needs some refining. So we'll see what happens with everything. I'm happy. The biggest thing that I could say is I'm happy that I bought the 1700 instead of the 1700X or the 1800X, because the 1700, despite being lower wattage, overclocks similar to the other two processors. So I'm happy at least I woke up in the morning and read those reviews and got it that way. And for right now, am I upset? No, like, AMD is, back in the game. They haven't matched Intel, and I'll say that definitively, no matter what way you look at it. I mean, you could look at it and say they are providing more cores or whatever, but they haven't matched Intel. They haven't done that, and they probably won't for a few years. But it's at least good that they put them on their heels and come close to them, so it's an actual competition, as opposed to you have one side where the CPUs are really good, and then you have one side where it's like they're total shit. So I'm happy they came close. I'm happy they're gonna give them a competition. If you have like a latest gen Intel chip, do not. There's no reason for you to switch unless you just really love AMD. And I don't love AMD that much, but I wouldn't blame you for loving them if you did. But if you have like a Skylake or a Kaby Lake CPU, you probably want to stick with that, and you'll be okay. If you have something less and you want to go to AMD, then go ahead and do it. It's gonna be okay. That it might not. The frames per seconds in these games that we're talking about is not that big. But anyway, I feel like I got all my points across and then kind of went extra on it. So thanks for watching. Subscribe, comment, like, whatever. I'll be here. I'll respond. And I'll see you guys next time.